Warning, this videotape is protected under domestic copyright laws and is licensed for private use only. Stephen's Magic Emporium will pay a reward to anyone providing information leading to the arrest and conviction of persons involved in unauthorized duplication of this videotape.
Hi, I'm Joe Stevens, and welcome to another Greater Magic video teach-in series. This one, the Himber Ring. Richard Himber gave us this miracle back in the 50s. We're proud to present some real professional routines from professional performers for your education and performance and entertainment. You're going to see one of our icons, Billy McComb, and his routine. You're going to see Jonathan Pendragon do it in a close-up setting, but he also can do it on stage. You're going to see Ted Leslie, one of the famous mentalists around the world who lives in Germany. You're going to see our good friend Carol Fox, who we videotaped this the same week before he passed away. So this is one of the last things he gave to us. Some great innovative ideas from Pete Barrow. And we think that you will enjoy all these routines and lessons and tidbits that they're going to teach us. If you've always wanted to learn about the Himber Ring, you've got the right product for it. Thank you for enjoying this video.
For this next stunt, there's only one thing that I don't borrow, and it's this, which happens to be what is technically known in the language as a swizzle stick. This is a swizzle stick. The idea is that when you order champagne, they're drinking water. You know that? And bitching about it, too. Now, the swizzle stick. What you do is you take the swizzle stick. I steal these from all over the world. This comes from... I gotta get glasses or longer arms. Anyhow, this comes from somewhere. And the idea is you swizzle this inside the champagne, you see, and then all the bubbles come out, and you don't burp at the waiter when you're arguing about the bill. I will give this to you to look after for me. Don't do anything peculiar with it. I realize the possibilities. Right. Now, I want to borrow 3 signet rings like this. This is the old family signet ring that goes back to 1600 and frozen to death. It's been in the family ever since it was nearing, and so it won't confuse you. I will take it off. Oh, God. That's it. Right. Now, we want to borrow 3 rings of this type, gold signet rings, one from here, one from out there, and one from over here. The idea is that as many of you as possible are going to be close with what I'm going to do. Do we have any signet rings? Can I? Oh, one there, one there. Oh, yes. May I have a look at it, my dear? Yes. God, look at that. What do you do when the battery goes? Beauty. And, oh, we got one over here. Black stone, obviously, in mourning for something or another. Cat died again. Yeah, I know, they're terrible. And have you got one? Yes. Yeah, may I borrow that? Try to get it off. I've had more rings covered in saliva in this trick than you ever... Sometimes if we can't get it off, we have a hell of a good trick with a finger, a ring, and a Swiss Army knife, but it gets very messy. Right. That one's yours, that one's yours. Right. Now, we're going to put them on the swizzle stick, but before we do that, we're going to really observe them properly because we can't have any junk in this act. Oh, can I read the inscription in yours? It's wonderful. It says, "To George with love and fondest devotion from Cyril." Oh, well, it takes all sorts to make a world, yeah. That's it. Yours is you do look funny. Oh, hell, it's this thing. I beg your pardon. Yours is a French ring. You can see the J.C. Penney. It's a real good French ring. Beautiful, that. Right. Point the swizzle stick towards me, not too ferociously because I'm a bit funny there. Right, now, push it right through the center like that. Fine. Now, here's the amazing thing. Those three rings at this moment in time are separate on the thing like that. Watch this, because this is very bizarre. Do you see your ring there? Yes. Stand up and lift it up in the air. Just lift your ring. Don't worry about the others. Your ring is now linked to the other two, right? Now, come, my child. Come with me. Give it to the gentleman and let him check for his ring. Do you see your ring there? I'll take her back in case she gets cold. You sit over there, right? And keep quiet for the moment. It's there, is it? Yes. Right? Only one person hasn't identified. I think it's you, isn't it? Right, let me go over to you. It's definitely yours, isn't it? It is. Oh, thank God for that. Look, that there is his ring, which he has identified, see? And is linked right through your ring, see? That is her ring, which she's identified, and is linked right through your ring. There's no way of it coming apart, right? You see that? Where do you come from? This is most important.
Bryan, Ohio.
Ohio. Where do you come from?
Estes Park, Colorado.
Yeah, and where do you come from?
Wichita, Kansas.
I remember when I had my first beer. Yeah. Now, I got to tell you, good people, that this first part, where you link them together, I mean, that blows the idea of the three of you going home together. But I got to explain. The first part, I do very well. You know, they're joining them together. But this is a difficult bit. I'll tell you what. I have a mode of separating them. Okay, it's mundane, it's ordinary, but it works. And if it works, now, don't worry, I'll only cut through the cheapest one. 3 worried people. Yes, right. Now this is a bit of a. It's the first time that happened again. Don't worry, I can get it off. I know exactly how to get it off. It goes round there, and right. Yeah. Seemed like a good idea at the time. Well, we just went and died and keep sewing. Oh, I got that off, but hey, we're back where we were at the start again. Who has the swizzle stick? Who's got the swizzle stick? Have I? Oh, yeah, you're right. It was here. I'm going to take this. We were in luck before we put it in this. Thank God for you. Otherwise, this wouldn't know where I was. Hold it like that, right? Now, we're going to put the 3 rings. They're still, unfortunately, linked together, as you can see. We're going to put them on there like that. Right, so. Right. Now, whilst they're in this situation, there's not a chance in hell of getting them apart unless we magish. You're not going to give us that crap. Yes, I'm going to magish. I say the mystic words to myself because they're very bad words. And then I do this, which means nothing. It's like putting parsley on fish, but by God, it does look good. Now, is that your ring there, that one?
Yes, sir.
That's the one that's causing all the trouble. Listen very carefully. You will actually hear one ring mystically waft through the other, like a bill through the Senate. Did you hear that? That's just me with my fingernail going through, but it sounds real good, doesn't it? But this means that your ring is separate. Now, lift your ring up really high, and you find now it's unlinked, but the other 2 are still linked together, right? Still linked together, so we got to get these 2 apart. Oh, you know, plumbing is much easier than this sort, and it doesn't matter. Look. I do that just for my own amazement. pull your ring off separate from the others, and it is separate and it's perfectly intact. The last ring in the swizzle stick goes to the lady over here. A round of applause for 3 people without whom we wouldn't have had a miracle. Thank you so much, my dear.
How much different is the Himber Ring routine that you do now compared to the routine that was published in your book in 1972?
It's been streamlined. The psychology of it has been straightened out. During the course of my act, I spent a lot of time casually putting my hand in my pocket. Therefore, I feel that I can do that, and it's still part of William McComb. A lot depends on who's actually doing the thing. The main basis of the Himber Ring is this. First and foremost, here's the Himber Ring. Now, I still do, this is the original one that Richard Himber gave me. I still do what I've always done, and that is, if you look on the front, you'll see that there I have scratched with a vibratory engraver the initial B, which is exactly the same as in McComb's Magic. Now, that tells me that the opening side is at one particular point, and that is over here. And when I open it, will always open there. The problem has always been people didn't know where to open the Himber Ring. What I did is my eyesight got worse. I put a little scratch nick mark there, so I merely feel here, and I know from that little nick that that's where the thing's going to open.
Right.
Second thing is the question, well, there's a whole lot about oiling the rings. Instead of oiling it, you can use candle grease. A lot of people use graphite and end up with their hands black, but that's all stuff that's for common knowledge. Now, that ring is inside that loop, jeweler's loop. That's what they call this little eyeglass thing. And that is in my pocket, right? That is either in my top pocket or my inside pocket, depending what other tricks I'm doing in the act. Before I ever start, that goes out because that's the only thing that comes from me. Everything else is borrowed. I don't tell them I'm going to swing in the Himber Ring. So when I get the rings from them, here, we use my ring and
I'll loan you one.
Good enough.
And I borrowed a ring.
Oh, good. Okay. Fine. That's perfect. Now, where's the Himber Ring? Oh, here it is. Yeah, of course. Good. My God.
Easy to lose them.
Yeah, if you do that in performance, you're really in trouble. So now I get the rings. Now, when I get the rings like that, and like that, and like that, my hands at that point are empty, right? Now, I know by checking the shank of the ring, which is the part opposite. If that's where the signet part is, that's where the shank is, that bit there. And I know over the years of wearing a Himber Ring for a while, till I was sure of it, that I can match the shank. Now, that shank matches. That shank is a little bit too thick here, and that doesn't match at all because it's got these
So you have to find the shank that matches.
Yep. And I always hope it's going to be the center one because it's more evenly balanced to do it that way. So now I take out the one that's got the matching shank. So that one goes into my pocket as I go in and get this. And when I come out with this, I've got the ring in my hand, and I put this in my eye like that. Now, you never ever will see somebody put a thing in the eye like that. They put it in their eye with their hands like that, so it's closed. See, now let's look at these rings. Now, as you look at the rings, you hold them up one by one, and you let everyone know without a shadow of a doubt that they are separate. But you've already looked at the ring that you've taken out. So you describe that ring when you're describing the Himber Ring through the jeweler's loop, right? Now, as they go back in your hand again, they go back in your hand in such a way that that goes over the Himber Ring, and that goes over the Himber Ring. So now all you have to do is to snap it shut. Now the snap here, let me show you the snapping. This being an original Himber has got a double snap. In other words, hear that?
I hear it.
2 clicks. Let me do that again because it's important that you hear that. See? Now that means for sure that's going to be closed. Now at that point you say to the guy, hold that pointed towards me, and as he points it towards you, you put these rings on. Make sure that goes through the center. It can actually be very deceptive because sometimes you'll find that one ring hangs off. So that's that. Now I say, there are the rings separate. Now when you do that, nobody can tell whether they're separate or linked. They're actually linked. When they are linked, you're saying they're separate. When they're separate, you're saying they're linked. Remember that, because that's important. So now you go to the first person and say, take your ring, lift it off.
So
when you lift it off, so when you lift it off, if you show that to the camera,
all three
are now linked. Now at that point, The ring you've swung out, the Himber ring, is now taking its place. That person's over there. So you try to angle yourself between that person and the person who's holding that ring. In fact, when I take the girl from here over to here, you'll notice that I'm between her and the guy that loaned the ring.
So
That's
you're
not
always
taken out.
covering this.
So I'm always covering that. But on the other hand, in a cabaret situation, I'm going from here to there, and everyone gets a chance to see, but he's the one that
So
doesn't
that's
get a
why you
chance
try to
see
pick
it.
people from
From
widely
there,
separate
there,
parts of the room.
and there,
All right.
and the best place to switch out is the middle one.
Now,
Right?
when you show that ring to the guy in the center, what is the move that you do? You really don't show him
Well,
the whole ring.
Let me go
You
into the first part.
Okay.
That's taken off by the girl there. She takes it over, and he identifies his ring, or she it was in this case, and that's that one there. So now they've both identified their two rings. Now, when I go to the guy in the center, whose ring I've taken out and replaced with the Himber ring, now the whole thing changes, because now, look the way I hold the Himber ring. I hold the Himber ring like that. So now, all he sees is the shank of the ring, like that, see? And I say, that ring belongs to the person over there, and they have identified it. This ring belongs to the person over here, and they have identified it. I'm not saying, this is your ring, or take your ring. The story changes. Now, it's the other two rings have been identified, and they are looked right through your ring. Now, at that point, if he reaches forward to take that ring from me, I poke him pretty hard and say, where do you come from? Well, that jerks him back in the seat, and he says, oh, I come from Miami, say, you see. Where do you come from? I come from Los Angeles. Where do you come from? I come from Detroit. You say, oh, well, that wrecks,
Gives you the cover to get away
that
from.
wrecks the idea of the three of you going home together, which gets me away from him. Now, once I'm away from him, I can cover reasonably well because there's distance. And the fact also that in the lights, the rings glitter, so he can't really see his own ring. Now, at that point, we take this hacksaw thing that Edwin put out, the Supreme Hacksaw, and you push that there, put that on there, and I bring this up close. And usually, if it's an ordinary microphone, I scratch the top of the microphone. I can't do it with these things because they're too delicate, they're too sensitive. And besides that, they'd go potty. Now, that there is like that. So I say, don't worry, I know how I can get that off. I go along there like that and through it. Now, they know by the time you get to about there that there's no way that it's going to go right over, and therefore, they're not at all surprised when you finally, well, actually, that's a small ring. They're not at all surprised whenever it comes back and it's right back onto the thing again. Then you keep sawing, and as you keep sawing, that just comes out through there again. But you keep sawing, and I saw sometimes against the Himber ring if I can't saw against the mic, because that makes just as much noise. See, like that. And then I do a sideways flick, and I say, oh, well, we've got that off, but these are still joined together. Now I say we've had a lot of luck when it was on the swizzle stick. Let's try putting it back in the swizzle stick. Now at that point, as I'm saying that, and I'm trying to separate them like that, what I'm actually doing is I'm opening the Himber ring. So when I put the rings back on again, at that point, this jeweler's loop goes back in my pocket. And when that goes back in my pocket, I get the other ring that originally I've swung out. So that is the last ring to go on. So at this point, I say, hold that facing me, and the rings go on like that. Now, when the rings go on like that, they're separate, but I'm saying they're linked. Now, as I do that, I get this pocket upstage and drop that ring into this pocket. So it's upstage, and all eyes are on that because it's glittery and people are looking at it. So then I go to the guy whose ring I originally switched out, and I say, by the way, which one is yours? And he points to the ring, his ring, which is now back again. And I say, yeah, that's the one that we're having trouble with. And then I click my fingernail against the ring, work that gag. I say, take your ring and take it off. Now, when he takes his ring off, remember, these two people, here and here, have never seen his ring. They've only seen the Himber ring. And at that chance, they're never going to see either the Himber ring or his ring again, because when I go back to them, all that's on there is the person's ring here and the person's ring here. But as I go back, I say, but you'll notice they're still linked they're still linked together.
When in fact they
and
are.
they're not.
Right.
So from that one comes off to there. The last one, plus the swizzle stick, goes to the person over there. And then I say, a big round of applause for the three people without whom there wouldn't have been a trick. And then I walk forward, and with my fragile ego, I take the applause that the people are giving for them. And if you lead your own applause, it's a ridiculous situation.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ted Leslie, and I have the pleasure to show you a very interesting experiment. By the way, you were eating today. We watched you very closely. Come a little bit nearer, please. Thank you. We want to have that back. Thank you so much. Women's Prison, Munich. Ladies and gentlemen, you know Uri Geller, the man who banned the spoons. And this experiment I want to show you with that spoon tonight. Will you kindly have a good look at the spoon, that it's not broken in any way, no chemicals, nothing else? Hold it for a moment. If I did it like Uri Geller does, this rubbing business, it takes me 45 minutes time. But I have not the time, so I will weight the spoon with rings, with finger rings, but with your finger rings. Ma'am, give me the most expensive one. Beautiful. Excuse me. What the dime shops are selling nowadays, it's impossible. Okay. Then I want to have, if possible, a gentleman's ring. Do you have a ring, sir? Beautiful, thank you. Did you see something like this before? Isn't that beautiful? Oh, there is something written inside as well. May I have your first name, sir?
Stephen.
Stephen. What's written here? For Stephen, with love from Billy. Okay, that's not my problem. Do you have a ring, madam? May I have one? Thank you. What we have here are, I would say, $1,000, $1,500, and yours, 95 pennies, the dozen. And exactly at this spot, I want to finish my appearance here. Thank you, good night, and goodbye. What means, wait a second. I promised you Uri Geller, and you should have Uri Geller. May I have the spoon back, please? I put all the rings onto the spoon like this. Okay. Madam, will you kindly stand up and come to my side? Will you hold the spoon here, please? That is more showmanship. I concentrate and the spoon will bend where the rings are. Watch this. Something happens? No? I try it from the other side. Something happens? No? Then I can do it tonight. Open your hand like this and take your ring. Only yours, madam. Only yours.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, the rings are linked. Thank you so very much. Will you kindly take a seat? By the way, madam, is that really your ring?
Yes.
Look at it.
Yes. Oh my, how did you do that? Oh.
Very well.
Yeah.
Look after it. You see your ring? Is it
yes.
linked with the other two?
Yes, it is.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Where you come from? You come from here,
California.
from California. Which city, madam?
Los Angeles.
Los Angeles. Where you come from,
Los
madam?
Angeles as well.
And the young man?
Maryland.
What?
Maryland.
Maryland. No. Where is that? Did I show you your ring? No. You see your ring linked with the other two?
Yes, I do.
Okay. It would be from interest how you go home with the two ladies tonight. Do you have an idea how I can get them apart? Madam? No?
No.
I have an idea. Mr. Assistant, here is something on the table. Will you bring that up, please? No, in front of the table, yes. I have something very interesting to show you. Now for me the biggest question. Which one is the cheapest one? Funny, I take this one. Oh. That was yours. It's broken. Beg your pardon. But it's harder than you think. That was your ring, madam. Look, that is in perfect condition.
Yes, it is.
Second ring is yours, sir. It's in perfect condition.
Yes, it is.
And the last ring is yours. And if each and every ring is now in good condition, you didn't see Uri Geller, but I think you witnessed a much bigger miracle. Thank you. Thank you. That's it. What you need for the experiment is a spoon. Mine is from the Hilton in Washington. Then you need a watchmaker's lens you can get at a watchmaker. And you need, the most important thing of all, a Himber ring. The Himber ring is miscalled. It was not an invention of Dick Himber. It was the invention of Percy Diaconis. Percy Diaconis went along a jeweler shop and found rings for people with arthritis, that they could take them off so they could be unlocked. I had, as I started doing the routine 20 years ago, 25 years ago, I had such a ring until in the nightclub, something happened. A lady, she was a little bit tipsy, pulled on the outside rings, and the Himber ring went unlocked. And for that reason I had, by my jeweler, one made, which is very, very special. That is this one. And I think we should have a few close-up shots of that ring, because it's very important that the people understand what I did. It took me a long time of development. By the way, this ring is similar to rings elderly gentlemen in Germany and in England wear. An oval-shaped ring with a blue stone. And when I get them from the audience, I don't do any switches. Then I have the lady going to the man, to the second lady, showing the ring. Because if a gentleman wore that ring for about 30 years, he doesn't know how it looks exactly. For that reason, I floored a lot of magicians with that. If I spot such a ring in the audience, I say that's my victim. Okay? This ring, and that is a little bit more complicated, like the Himber ring, doesn't pull out open, it is hooked open. I don't know if you can see it. I would show that I would be very happy to show that right in front of the camera, very near. That means that thing hooks in, and as more as they pull, as stronger the lock is. But that must be a ring from 14 carats. That means 585 gold, so we call it so. This ring comes into this pocket along with a spoon and the watchmaker's lens. And I start doing the routine very fast now. You will understand it immediately. First of all, I put the bowl of the spoon in my sleeve like this, approach a gentleman, and look how natural that looks. Swivel the ring inside. It is such a movement, I show you. That is movement. And then I give that to inspection. Okay? Everything okay? Good. So then I borrow the ring, the first ring, and now I look at, take my glasses off, take the watchmaker's lens, look at it, make a joke, put that away, and put it on my finger. Then I ask for the loan of a gentleman's ring, which is very important. When I have put the watchmaker's lens, as I look on it, back into the pocket, I take my Himber ring out and have it finger palmed here. Now I take this ring, look what happens, I make it very slow. This happens. That ring is finger palmed, and this ring is here, and I show it to a lady in front. Isn't that a nice ring? And then I do the joke again, taking the watchmaker's lens out, have the ring over here, put it in the pocket, and leave the ring there. And then I look at this one and pull the joke. for Billy, and so on, and so on, and so on. And hook that onto my finger, my middle finger. So, like this. Now I have the third ring. What I have to do now is, because it's a little bit more complicated, I do the gag with that are $5,000. Thank you, good evening, and goodbye. And on the way back, I open the ring, and with constant talk, I hook one ring in after the other in my Himber ring, like this. And now I get the spoon back, and I put all the rings on the spoon, and it looks that nothing has happened. The time has gone by, and then I pour that, as I did on the tape. You can rewind it, then you see it again in the hand of the lady. She looks after her ring, and she sees that it is linked with the other two. I put the spoon away, and at the same time I take the ring out, the ring from the gentleman. And you have to be careful that they are far apart sitting. That's very important. So, now I show the first ring to the lady. Is that your ring? Is it linked with the other two? Blah, blah. And now we do that over here. And now with constant talk, I open that ring, and that's the most complicated thing. Take one ring out, put that here, put the next one in, because I have to show the gentleman his ring. And I do as I had it forgotten. I say, oh, by the way, I forgot your ring. You see your ring? Is it linked with the other two? Okay, now I have this ring from the lady over here. I throw all the rings on top of it. Look, it looks that nothing has happened. Then comes the bit with the pair of pliers, and if I have done that, I unlock it, take the first ring out, give it to the lady. It's very important that the gentleman becomes the second ring, because that implants in the views of the spectators that that was the middle ring. You understood? Okay. And then I take the third ring out of my hand and give it back, make my applause position, go away and drop my Himber ring in that pocket. And that is all what I have to tell you about that routine. Especially, don't forget one thing. That is the pair of pliers. May I have it again? I put a nail inside here. Yes, I put a nail inside here, and that is that which I break when I do this. And you see a piece fly away. And that if you have a very, very expensive ring, that is a scream in the audience. And then I do something else. If that would be the stage, sorry, if that would be the stage, and the curtain is closed, I throw this pair of pliers under the curtain like this. And backstage is my assistant. He says, ouch! That gives the final laugh. And then I do my applause position, my bow, and go off. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so very much for your kind attention.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman beside me, I'm sure you know. His name was Joe Stevens. Joe, we started something when we started the tapes, didn't we?
Yes, we did. That was like 10 years ago.
Was it? I know I was the #1 guy.
#1, and we were up to
And how many do you have now?
56.
56 tapes. And if you buy 55 of them, Joe will give you the 56th one for free, won't he?
Absolutely.
Okay, Joe, we're talking about linking finger rings, and I'm going to show you my routine. It's a little offbeat. If you were doing the linking finger rings, how would you like to borrow rings from the audience, link them together, have them identified, and then separate them and return them with no switches at all?
It'd be, to me, an epitome of close-up or stage magic.
Yeah, I think it's a nice, simple thing. Takes a little bit of guts, but then a lot of things do. I use a signet ring, but you can use the wedding band type if you like. You sell them both, don't you?
Yes,
Yeah.
there's different models, Carol. You can buy them for $50, $150, $300, $500,
Yeah.
up to $1,000.
Really? Well, you might as well get a nice one if you're going to use it all the time.
Well, some are gold-plated, some are 10-karat gold, some are 14-karat gold.
That's good.
I think the main thing is for somebody that wants to do a Himber ring routine is buy an economical one and practice and learn it.
Sure.
When you get the routine worked up, then get your nice one.
That's a good idea. Now, Joe, in my method, you have the gimmick ring open, and in your left hand, you just...
Can I see that gimmick, how it's open there?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so this comes apart here.
Yeah.
And locks in place.
Yeah.
And pressure on your finger opens it up.
Opens it up,
I got you, okay.
Yeah, okay. That is in your left hand. Okay, now, you say, ladies and gentlemen, I want to borrow some rings. So you walk down into the audience on this side, stage left, and you look at the ladies' rings and you say, no, not that one. No, not that. Oh, this one's nice. May I borrow this? And she says,
yes.
Say it good and loud. I don't want
Yes.
people to think I stole it. Okay, so now you take her ring and you put it on the gimmick in your left hand.
But nobody sees the gimmick in the left hand.
No. They're just like you put the ring in your hand. Now you go to the middle of the audience and you say, let's see what I can find down here. And you say, no, I don't like that one. No, I don't like, hey, that's a nice one. Do you mind if I borrow this?
No, it's okay.
Say it loud.
It's all right.
I want them to know that you know that you're not cheating. Okay. Now you go down to the third part of the audience. By the way, these are all three together now so you can lock it. You get down to the third part of the audience and you say, no, that's no good. No, that's no good. Can I borrow this?
Yeah, pin.
No,
Yes.
no, don't say a pin.
Okay.
Just say yes. Can I borrow this?
Yes.
Yes. Say it loud.
Yes.
Now see, that's exactly the same thing I've asked the others, right? So now I put the rings on, the pin, and I say, look, if we wiggle them like this, you never call attention to the fact that there's three. You're just going to borrow some rings, you say. We put it on, and the rings are joined. Check and make sure. Are they joined?
They are linked.
Okay. Now, at this point, you squeeze the gimmick open, like that, and you slip both rings off, and you can take all the time you want with this because apparently you're just trying to unhook them, see? Which is really what you're trying to do, right? Once you get them open, then you put them back on the pin, and you get out of the audience and you say, is this yours? You say yes.
Yes, it is.
Loud.
Yes, it is.
Okay. And you go to the second lady, you say, is this yours?
Yes, it is.
And you go to the third guy, and you say, is this yours?
Yes, it is.
Okay, fine. So then you unhook this one, and you give it to him, and you unhook the next one, and you give to her, and you say, what's left must be yours. There we go, and thank you very much. That's it. Simple.
So you're palming off the gimmick ring.
Yeah, you got the gimmick ring on.
And his ring comes back here.
No. The whole idea is that you really just borrow two rings. And the third one, instead of a ring, you're borrowing a pencil.
Okay.
Got the idea?
But the audience does not know that.
No, they do not
They
know
think
that.
you've borrowed a third ring.
They think you borrowed a third ring.
Because you've
Because
said-
you do it the same way, see? You say, no, not that one, not that. Oh, may I borrow this? Yes. Say it loud.
Yes.
You go to the next lady. May I borrow this?
Yes.
Say it loud.
Yes.
You go to the third person in the audience and you say, may I borrow this?
Yes.
Say it loud.
Yes.
Okay. Now you go back up and you got your rings, right? And they're all hooked up. I'm having trouble because of my fingers. There they go. They're all hooked onto the one ring. You have borrowed the
Two rings,
two
but
rings.
they think you've borrowed three.
Yeah, because you borrowed the pin. Now you put them on like this. And you say, watch, we're going to join these rings. Again, you never say three rings, you just say rings. Now I sort of turn my back to this guy over here that I got the pin from. And I hold him in close and I do this. And I say, see, they're joined.